All right, let's go to the Bengals next, if you're good with that. Joe Burrow returned to practice this week. Skinny, what does this mean, and what are you making of this potential Thanksgiving return timeline that people are giving him?
It's probably not going to matter. I mean, you got a good chance to lose the next two games at Pittsburgh and New England at home. By then, you're 3-8. My only hope is we see the defense get better. Because if the defense doesn't get better, it's not going to make any difference. We saw this last year. We saw Joe Burrow throw for almost 5,000 yards and 43 touchdowns. We saw them lose 4 games when they scored at least 33 points. We're seeing that on repeat this year. Joe Flacco scores 80 points the last 2 games, and you lose them both. So, I know there's some level of good news there because it's not going to be as long-term as maybe some thought it was going to be. That seems to be the target is that Thanksgiving night return. But they could honestly be 3-8, and if they're not, maybe we see some life from the defense. But let me ask you, what gives anyone hope that Myles Murphy is going to finally have a pulse? What gives you any hope that the 2 rookie linebackers figure it out? Maybe they do. That's probably where my only hope on the defense lies, is the 2 rookie linebackers start to figure it out, and they help the defense get a little bit better. What corner outside of DJ Turner do you trust? Cam Taylor-Britt, Josh Newton? And the 2 safeties are arguably 2 of the worst in the league, and there's nobody behind them. What makes anyone think that they're going to get better? It's an island of misfit toys is what it is.
Well, they got that dark cloud Logan Wilson out from over top of them. Now the linebackers can just be leaders, true leaders of this team, and just fully come into their role as leaders. I
need to see some life. If the defense shows me some life in these next 2 games and the offense continues to play the way it is and they do find a way to win, well then, okay, it's exciting, but wake me when it gets to that part.
Right. I that's the problem with Joe Burrow coming back and people getting excited about it. It's like Joe Flacco, the quarterback situation, isn't the issue right now. Right. Joe Flacco's been incredible. You could have subbed Joe Burrow in there, and I think, the offense couldn't have played any better hardly than what it did with Joe Flacco. So I don't know what this fixes. I guess it's good to see that maybe this injury isn't super long-term, that Joe Burrow is able to recover from and get healthy. I'll be honest, I'm going to be terrified if they put him back in a game this early. It feels like you're just asking for trouble with him trying to return as soon as he can. Now, I'm sure he's going to be medically cleared more than 100% and all of that stuff before he does come back. But to me, it just feels like, why? To your point, it's not going to matter for this season. And if he does get hurt, then what are we talking about in terms of his future and the Bengals' future?
Yeah, and I was asked yesterday, I did my weekly segment with Mo Egger, and Mo just asked, what do you think he should even play at all if they're 3-8? And I said,
yeah, what do you think about that?
I said, yeah, yes. If you're cleared 100% to play and you're being paid to play the game, that's your job, and he wants to play. He's a super competitive guy. Then yeah, he plays. I get that fans are going to be holding their breath for the final 6 games because if they're 3-8, you're literally just playing out the string of a losing season at that point.
So from that perspective, I can see him being like, yeah, it's my job to play. I want to be out there with my guys. Is it the Bengals' responsibility? Should the Bengals be saying, no, you're not going to play in meaningless games at the end of the year when you've already been seriously injured multiple times throughout your career? We're just going to save you.
No, I don't. I honestly don't. I know that's an understandable sentiment. But again, if he's cleared 100% and he's fully healthy, then go do your job, man.
How much do you think those guys don't want to miss out on the games for their career stats numbers? Even though they're meaningless games, do you think Burrow and Chase care about getting those numbers?
I think there's something to that. I think there's some truth to that. But I also think, let's face it, man, these guys are super competitive, right? And if you're healthy enough to play, you want to play. I think Joe Flacco's been outstanding in these press conference settings. I could listen to him. I really could listen to him all day. And he said this a bunch of times, when I was the backup, you got to keep bad thoughts out of your heads. I want to play. I have fun playing this game, and I want to keep playing it for as long as I can. So I finally got another opportunity to go play, and I'm just going to make the most of it for as long as I can make it. And I think that's for a good chunk of these guys. That's their sentiment of, if I'm healthy, man, I want to play.
All right, I haven't asked anything that I'm going to move up into this segment because it kind of fits in line with all of this stuff. What would you say are the chances that Burrow and or Chase would come out and ask for a trade over the course of their contracts if things continue to spiral the wrong direction for the Bengals?
It's a great question.
Both are signed until 2029, correct?
Yep. That's a great, great question because obviously Burrow hasn't been part of this spiral, this year because he's been out. Jamar obviously has tried to say all the right things in post games. I'm still waiting for that post game blow up, and maybe it never comes. But if this offseason they don't do something to fix the defense, and let's just say we go into next year and we have the same old defensively, and they're losing games 35-33 like they done this year a couple times, like they did last year with Joe Burrow a handful of times. I could certainly see that, because at that point it's like, hey man, we're doing our job, and you guys can't get this other side of the football right. We're playing at a championship caliber level on this side of the ball, and yet you didn't make the playoffs in 2023, in 2024. You're trending towards not making it in 2025. If this again spirals next year, that's 2026. Again, with a championship caliber quarterback, potentially 2 Hall of Fame caliber players in Chase and Higgins, and you can't even make the playoffs with those dudes because you couldn't fix the defense, I can see that being frustrating, sure.
Yeah. I mean, I saw this question. A lot of times, these types of questions are like whatever-ish, but in this case, with those guys and the way this situation is going, it doesn't seem all that unreasonable, as competitive as they are, that at some point they're like, yeah, this is the disaster. This is what we were warned about from Carson Palmer and Andrew Whitworth and those other former Bengals players, TJ Houshmandzadeh. This is what everyone was talking about. Let's try to salvage what we can of our careers here.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And I could understand that. Again, I don't think we're there yet, even if they win only a couple more games this year, right, and Joe comes back and lights it up and defense is still causing troubles, and you were kind of out of it when you came back anyway. But if it continues into next season for a handful of games, I can certainly see it's a legitimate question.
Going back to Burrow's decision to play or not, how much do you think the record of the team factors into that? Because there was a little bit of hinting of like, there are a lot of factors. We'll see where we're at in a couple of weeks. Do you think that's what he's meaning there?
No, I truly think they want to get him through 2 weeks and see where he's at that point, and say, okay, you've done everything. Zach talked yesterday about watching Joe throw on Monday, and he said, listen, all we did was throw from a pocket on air. We didn't, have go 11 on 11. They haven't done that. I think they'll probably won't do that until sometime next week. Get him in some 11 on 11 where he starts to move around. Because even he talked about, I didn't do a whole lot of twitchy stuff, and that's the stuff, you got to push off on your toe. Because he even said, he goes, you really don't push off on the big toe as much as you think when you throw. It's more when you're moving around in the pocket, and let's see how that feels. So I think they just want to see, what does this feel like in a couple of weeks, and then let's revisit all of this. And maybe the record does matter. Maybe they do tell him, dude, just sit this one out. We're 3-8.
We want a tank to get a higher pick.
Yeah, there's that too. Our offense is doing just fine. We're basically mathematically eliminated, but I don't see that, man. These guys want to play. I mean, they want to play.